The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Hello and welcome to another edition of TVWAN News. I'm Carol Kidu Jr.
And I'm Rex Lita. Join me for your sporting details later in the bulletin.
In this edition, police give statement of facts on Tambua case. NFA announces first fish mill. And Barra's in for another ODI series match. Shadow Minister for Petroleum and Energy and MP for Sinasina Yangomul, Kerengakua, is calling on the government to respect the Bank of PNG and not to interfere in their operations. He said the central bank is an independent organization and its independence must be respected.
Shadow Minister for Petroleum and MP for Sinasina Yangomul has raised concern that the central bank must not be getting advice from the government, but rather advising the government what they must do. Kua says that's the proper order of things. However, he is concerned that this work process have been reversed and instead is working the other way around, and attributes the ongoing forex problems to this.
The government is in no position, no authority to do that. Bank of Papua New Guinea must be given the freedom and the independence to deal with its banker-client relationship on its own. With BSP. BSP must be left alone. What the government is risking is, you see, the more they impose upon Bank of South Pacific and insist upon the BSP towing the line, they are forcing the BSP into a situation of breach in relation to its relationships with other foreign commercial banks in what they call the correspondent banking relationship.
Kua also cautioned the government that such practices is putting risk to local banks, as international banks will not be trusting them. Kua further claimed that the government has got it wrong with its imposition of Bank of PNG and its impositions on the Bank of South Pacific.
The government is in no position, no authority to do that. Bank of Papua New Guinea must be given the freedom and the independence to deal with its banker-client relationship on its own. With BSP. BSP must be left alone. What the government is risking is, you see, the more they impose upon Bank of South Pacific and insist upon the BSP towing the line, they are forcing the BSP into a situation of breach in relation to its relationships with other foreign commercial banks in what they call the correspondent banking relationship. That relationship is built on trust. When you are dealing with parties of who are internationally suspects in perhaps money laundering, you're exposing a local bank to risk, because those foreign correspondent banks will shut their doors to the local bank, and without that relationship, no local bank can transact with international clients. You can't buy or sell or pay for your imports and exports. So I call upon the government to stop interfering with the Bank of Papua New Guinea and the Bank of South Pacific. And then we might get somewhere, because we'll come to the truth sooner rather than later.
Freddie Mo, TVWAN News.
Shadow Minister for Petroleum, Energy and International Trade and Investments, Kerengakua, has called on the government to be clear and legally compliant in its response to the fuel crisis. Kua, in a media conference, noted that among other directives, the government has given directives to Bank South Pacific to maintain Puma's accounts for an additional 12 months and has appointed Deputy Prime Minister John Rosso to be the team leader on this issue on behalf of Cabinet.
Shadow Minister for Petroleum and MP for Sinasina Yangumul, Karenga Kua, says it is appalling to see the government forcing BSP with emergency provisions to maintain Puma's accounts. Through BSP's own assessments based on international banking regulations and good practice standards, they made a decision to suspend their services to Puma this month. However, it appears that the government is giving further leniency to Puma and by doing so putting BSP's adherence to international banking regulations at risk. Kua says the government is trying to make it seem that they are taking steps to fix this crisis, but at the same time, they are creating more problems for the country in the future.
We should not be pointing fingers at each other. The issue is very much alive. It's impacting very, very seriously on the whole country. So we have to focus not on finger pointing, but at making sure that we deal with the issues. So it begins with us telling the truth.
Commenting on the decision to appoint DPM Rosso as the team leader of the fuel crisis, Mr. Kua noted that the Minister for Petroleum, Jimmy Maladina, has also taken carriage of the Energy Ministry, but for some reason is not fully in charge of this effort. Kua further explained that although the government's decision to invoke emergency powers to deal with this issue is a blanket order, it is particularly the Minister for Energy who should take lead on this effort since it relates to an energy emergency.
And Puma has shut down. It has thrown a lot of young boys and girls, young men and women, off their employment. All the Puma stations are closed right throughout Papua New Guinea. All these young women, men and women are without employment. How are we going to replace their employment? That is part of the neglect out of the current government. A lot of young people have lost their employment.
Freddie Mo, TVWAN News.
The opposition is yet to get a response from the Office of the Speaker of Parliament on what motion of vote of no confidence the Private Business Committee has dealt with. The opposition stated it submitted two motions, the first on February 14th and the second on February 20th, 2024. Alternate Prime Minister nominee Alan Bird explained that while they were in the process of submitting a third motion as one of their members defected to the government benches, the Prime Minister announced that there was forgery in the signatures of the MPs on the motion of vote of no confidence.
Governor for East Sepik and alternate Prime Minister Alan Bird has called on the Private Business Committee that opposition followed all processes and procedures in the Constitution to file the motion of a no-confidence vote. He demanded the PBC follow the process without delay. Bird said the last refusal was based on claims that some signatures of MPs were forged.
When the final motion went, which was the one on the 20th, that one should have been considered by the private business committee. Which one of those the private business committee dealt with, we still don't know to this day. Now the Prime Minister comes out and accuses us of falsifying someone's signature. I don't know the Honorable Douglas Tom Ries's signature. I don't even know Karenga's signature, the Honorable Keith Iduhu. I don't know their signatures. Yet you have 5 members of the business committee. They suddenly became experts at verifying signatures. And they knew everybody's signature and they were like, this one is falsified. I mean, you don't get to look him up. This is like silly. It's almost like kids playing marbles. The conditions required in the Constitution for us to fulfill, we fulfilled everything. to the requirement that the clerk and the speaker needed. That was all we were supposed to do, and we did all of that.
Bedford says that the opposition has made its stance known that it will not go to court over the vote of no confidence motion, but patiently wait for the May session of Parliament to file another motion. He also urged the Prime Minister to adhere to what his advisers are saying that may be in the best interest of the country.
You've been working with those people who are now members of the business committee and the Prime Minister himself. You already know that they'll say one thing and they'll do something else. You mean sabi pinis? You mean no long? So we anticipated that this was the first one they're trying to pull. So in fact, we outsmarted them by not going to court. And now they're saying, oh, well, you should have gone to court. So again, Mino sabe how Mibla Oglo Prime Minister, I mean, he needs to tell us where we are doing that. But, the opposition, we did our research. We've got lawyers, and these lawyers advised us and said, look, don't go like this. And, that's another thing. We don't know who his advisors are, but maybe from time to time, he might want to take some of that advice. He's got all the money there. I mean, his department is operating on, 300, 400, 500 million a year. So he can afford really good advisors. And one of the recommendations from us, the alternative government, is that we think the Prime Minister should start taking some of that advice. Because we do take advice. All the advice. We are humble enough to take advice. So let me.
Freddie Moe, TVWAN News.
The appointment of the Medang Provincial Administrator remains confusing after a gazette circulating on social media showed the revocation of current Provincial Administrator Frank Lau and reappointment of Daniel Aloy. It is uncertain if Gazette number G102, dated 21st February 2024, is a fake or legitimate. Medang's public servants and general population are concerned that this is affecting stability in the administration.
Gazette number G102, dated 21st February 2024, was shared on social media. It announced the reappointment of Daniel Aloy and the revocation of Frank Lau as provincial administrator. The sitting PA said he has to date not received any formal notification he was to vacate the PA seat by the Department of Personal Management, the NEC or relevant authorities to be able to verify this gazette.
I understand that the Department of Personal Management is the body responsible to carry out such appointments and revocation orders. And to date, as I have mentioned, I have not received any letter from them yet.
Mr. Lau said it is crucial that he maintain the status quo until a formal announcement is made. He has urged staff of the provincial administration to carry on with business as usual until as and when his contract comes to an end.
Since there's not been any formal announcement being made by the relevant authorities such as the NEC and DPM, then as far as I am concerned, I am still the duly appointed PA for Medang, and I will continue to occupy the office of the PA and perform my duties accordingly. I would now like to appeal to my staff at the Medang Provincial Government and to the general population of Medang not to take matters out of context. For me, it is business as usual, and so I would want every public servant in Medang to report for duties and carry on normally.
Mr. Lau said since becoming aware of the gazettal notice, flew to Port Moresby to seek clarification, but has not been able to verify it. He is urging concerned authorities to confirm the gazette so that a smooth transition can take effect.
Since I am aware of the gazette notice, I have made inquiries at most relevant offices such as the Department of Personal Management and the local level government affairs and Public Service Commission. But it seems that most of these officers are not aware of this permanent NEC decision and the gazette notice. If there is actually a change, then the proper protocol is for the DPM Secretary to action the NEC decision, and that is to make formal announcement and then liaise with me on the ground to hand over office to whoever is appointed to take my place. I would appeal to everyone not to take advantage of this situation and forcefully take any action, but allow due process to follow. I would also appeal to the local police not to take sides, but to stay neutral and maintain peace and good order within the province. At the end of the day, it is the government's prerogative to make necessary changes that may be deemed necessary, and I will readily welcome any legitimate change that the government decides, but any such change must follow lawful process that are in place.
Susan Oreape, TV1 News.
Member for Goroka Ayetambua, who was charged with 26 counts of criminal offending of a serious sexual nature, had allegedly committed these offences as early as 2012 when his first alleged victim, who is his eldest daughter, was just 12 years old. Police provided a statement of facts to the court on Monday of the alleged sexual activities, which included incidences of alleged sexual assault involving his second daughter and his wife as well.
A statement of facts provided by the police detailed the sexual activities that the member for Goroka Ayetambua is being accused of. Police state that these alleged sexual crimes were committed to two of his biological children and his wife between 2012 to 2022. Crimes committed against his first daughter included sexual touching at their family home in Garohu when she was 12 years old. After a hiatus of 2 years, Tambu allegedly started abusing her again in 2014 and 2016. According to the report, the abuse of his first child escalated in 2017 and 2018 when she was doing grade 12 and continued to 2019 and 2020 when she was in university. In 2021, the accused allegedly committed the same crime against his eldest daughter in his parliament office. Police allege it was the last time. The second victim was his second daughter, who was allegedly abused between March 2022 and April 2022. Police say the abuse happened at different locations, including Goroka, where he took her with him for a business trip, and at Leh International Hotel. In Goroka, his daughter switched on a recording app on a phone in an attempt to capture their conversation, but was caught. The accused allegedly threw his daughter's phone out the window of a building, destroying it. The third victim, his wife, who in the statement of facts told police that the accused allegedly raped her in November 2022 at a time when she was sharing a bedroom with one of her daughters. She stated she had not been on good terms with the accused at that time because of the ongoing abuses against their daughters. Aggrieved about the sexual abuse over the years, the mother and daughters reported the matter at the Boroko police station last year. The crime reports were registered and submitted for further investigation, which led to the arrest of the accused on Monday, 4th March. Tambua is out on a 10,000 kina bail and remains innocent until proven guilty by the court of law. Ruth Rongola, TV1 News.
You're watching TV1 News. Among stories after the break, first fish mill to be built in Medang and Nari challenged.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSP Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSP branch today to register now for BSP Mobile Banking. BSP Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSP, our bank, our people.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SB Lager, Bunyamyumi.
The Toyota JD Hiace bus comes in 14 and 15-seater high-roof luxury model powered by 2.8 liters JD engine for optimal performance output, fuel efficiency and quietness, designed with improved safety features and easy maneuverability for tire steering angle. The Hiace lift suspension and annular frame structure is opted for smooth ride, comfort and safety. Experience the ride on the Hiace bus and experience the Hiace pride, the bus that exceeds all expectations.
A true champion is measured by their courage, their determination, and their passion to never give up and to always keep trying. With a delicious Milo in milk taste and added nutrients, Milo in milk is a great way to fuel our little champions with nourishing energy every day. Because true champions give it their all.
Milo, PNG and Mia. Fine PNG made.
Right across the nation, we eat snack crackers. all get a young planalapun, only like him snacks crackers. Only make him here, no PNG, one-time lay biscuit company. It's crunchy and tasty. It's irresistible.
Here's Hugh Jones on the front of Well, we know all about his strength and his power.
Likes of players away, in support, and then it's the monster! Wheelie Antonio! Real opportunity now for Wales! More than an opportunity, it's a try!
Olmangi, scale him. Yo, you know can think the walk na school tasol. Remember you sort of kaya na hungry. Got it in big sounding straight. Run it, back
to my roots. Go get the bag. Moving in formal. Coming up fast. Back to my roots. Go get the bag. Moving in formal. Coming up fast.
I'll be the jack of all trades and master of none. Cause times is hard.
Welcome back. In the context of the excellent bilateral relations between Papua New Guinea and France, particularly in the military and security domain, Brigadier General Jan Latil, Commander-in-Chief of the French Armed Forces in New Caledonia, carried out recently his first official working visit to Port Moresby since his appointment last August. The French general officer was officially welcomed by a parade at Murray Barracks and then by the acting CDF Commodore Philip Polewara. Brigadier General Latil met the Minister for Defense, Dr. Billy Joseph, and the Secretary of the Department of Defense, Harry John Akipe. Together, they had fruitful discussions on several fields of cooperation, including humanitarian assistance and disaster relief that PNG could need in the case of natural disaster. He also exchanged with Foreign Minister Justin Kichenko and Fisheries Minister Jelta Wong. The fight against illegal fishing is another very important field of cooperation between France and PNG. France contributes to regional operations led by the Foreign Fisheries Agency. Defense relations between the two countries have gained new momentum since the signing on 31st October 2022 of an agreement on the status of forces and defense cooperation, an agreement whose ratification is still in progress. The National Fisheries Authority will build the country's first fish mill within the PMIZ precinct in Medang to kickstart the much-talked-about PMIZ project. Managing Director of NFA, Justin Ilakini, announced this during his visit to Medang last week.
During NFA's visit to Medang last Friday, multiple commitments and checks were presented as part of rolling out programs and projects in Medang province. One of them is the country's first fish mill to be constructed within the PMIZ. A check of 5 million kina for the project component was given to the Medang provincial government during this visit. Managing Director for NFA, Justin Ilakini, said a part of the income generated from their operations is set aside for their social sector and to implement projects under their social corporate responsibility. He assured the people of Medang that different projects will soon be rolled out in the province under an MOU signed between NFA and the Medang provincial government.
We will be starting off the first fish meal factory in the country in Medang. And we will start that off, and I'll give the check to Governor. And Governor, you can give it to the project proponent. So we'll have that as part of the assistance package to the Medang, to our people in Medang.
Another project which will soon be constructed is a jetty and shoreline-based facility worth 5 million kina in the Bogia district. The Raikos district was also given 500,000 kina to construct footbridges in the district. Minister for Labour and Employment and member for Raikos, Kesi Sawang, thanked NFA for the recognition given to the most geographically challenged district in the Madang province. Minister Sawang said Raikos District Development Authority has identified 6 footbridges they would like to construct, and these would cost approximately 2 million kina. However, the funding given would assist the DDA in delivering a few bridges.
And it's also because due to the geographical challenges that we have. So like in Raikos, I have a lot of rivers. And one of the challenges faced by the people is accessing services and markets across rivers. So
further commitments were made for Sumkar district to build the principal's house at Magyar Primary School, an ICT lab for Malalawa Junior High School, a 4-in-1 classroom for Talidig Primary School, and a 4-in-1 classroom for Sagalau Primary School, which is under construction at the moment. In addition, Mr. Ilakini said NFA will provide a 5 million kina facelift support to the Modilon General Hospital. Salome Vincent, TVWAN News.
A memorandum of understanding was signed last week between the National Fisheries Authority and the Growth with Equity in Vida Foundation in preparation to participate in the Pacific Marine Industrial Zone project in Madang. The MOU signing will now ensure that people living along the periphery of the PMIZ project are recognized in terms of social development as the project progresses.
The Growth in Equity in Vida Foundation is a Catholic-based organization in Madang, steered by Madang's Archbishop Anton Bal, and has been advocating for change and development for the impacted population in Vida along the North Coast Road. NFA Managing Director Justin Ilakini was enthusiastic about the MOU signing, as this signifies a greater partnership in terms of moving the PMIZ project forward with the people's support through the church. He said this partnership will enable GV Foundation to gain necessary funding required through the provincial government from NFA.
And we've started off with identifying important development partners who can help us deliver this project. With the Catholic Church, to implement the component of the project where most of our people are involved in, the social aspects of the project. So we've started that now.
Archbishop Anton Bal stated that it was not a new concept for the government to partner with NGOs and even the Catholic Church. Being an established church in the community, the MOU will provide a pathway for the church to help people access better health, education, infrastructure and other developments.
What the church will be engaging in is improving what we have done already. We have services, avenues for delivering services in those impacted areas, like schools. We have a lot of schools along this side, going from, starting from the entrance of river and going towards Bogyar and all the way to Rambu. I describe this place as I'm driving in my village.
Archbishop Bal also said the initiative to establish this foundation came about after people questioned him if they would ever benefit from spin-offs from the PMIZ project. Madang Governor Ramsey Pariwa also congratulated both parties on signing the MOU and indicated to assist landowners living in the impacted communities surrounding the PMIZ project area. Ruth Rongola, TVWAN News.
The Manam Resettlement Authority's Agriculture Multiplication and Distribution Center based in Daigul, Bogye District is doing wonders in growing and milling rice as food security. Gray Tuno, manager of the Food Security Program, said that since last year they have planted and harvested taro, cassava and now rice in partnership with the National Agricultural Research Institute.
The people of Daigul in Bogya District, Madang Province, are now planting rice as food security source with the support of the National Agriculture Research Institute. Greg Tuno, manager of the Food Security Program, said when they first went to Daigul, they identified families who could plant and harvest rice. The challenge was that there was no mill to process the harvested rice. The farmers said they produce bagged and stored away. Last year, the Manam Resettlement Authority bought 2 portable rice mills, which Mr. Tuno took to Daigul to test. He said the villagers were amazed when processed rice came out of the other end of the processor.
We milled 4 times at the Suramba Care Center, and then one at another host community that is Suaru, and just last Saturday, we milled about 127 kilos for one of villages. So these are the seeds that were handed out by me. We milled the rice, and some of them they were seeing the white rice for the first time, apart from those ones in the store. So they were really excited, and then the request for seeds started increasing.
Local youths and women from neighboring Syria, Saboro, Vidaro, Dugumor, Tobenam, and Potex flocked to the rice fields daily to assist Mr. Gray and his officers to harvest and replant. They had been doing this on a voluntary basis, and it has had some positive impact in the communities.
Sol papa masot lo school pi o wanem nakam marai timor na ni plano plani rice bato senau marakam ni plani samla tail to lelpin lo work nothing without payment bios mi plama mas to isla project and pam lo era.
Syria youth Agai Mamangal said the communal participation in this agriculture activity has transferred to other socio-economic activities, including support to community sports and church activities. He said everyone is heavily involved in rice production because it continues to provide food security for them.
Mi first plaman, mi staff, mi lukim, au mara, emare, been helping plenty all youths, lo side lo sports, all been got need, and also come inside as a group, and sa game all work, and sa help him all, also go. One kind of same help him more sports group, sample mama group inside the display area, and been help him so inside the display or surrounding communities where this la mara been based long and been helping planting a planting youth or been amama so.
Recent developments have seen the planting of disease-tolerant bananas, as well as a new collaboration with Coconuts Industry Corporation to plant coconuts in the distribution center. Proper housing facilities will now be erected for MRA staff on site to continue the quest of producing a variety of food crops to plant on the 244 hectares of land for the Manam internally displaced people. Frida Kana, TV1 News.
The National Agriculture Research Institute of Papua New Guinea has been challenged to take part in the state's proposed commercial rice farming project. Minister for International Trade and Investment Richard Maru issued the challenge when visiting the Nari head office in Morobe Province on Tuesday.
Minister for International Trade and Investment Richard Maru visited the head office of the National Agriculture Research Institute outside Lae on Tuesday morning. The minister was forthright with the intention of his visit to challenge Nari to look beyond subsistence and small-scale farming and prioritize commercial farming.
After all the research, we still haven't got rice import replaced. So you have to question the value of Nari. 40 years on, nearly 49 years on. Why haven't we done that? Why are we still importing corn and bringing all the feed from outside the country? Why is it that we can't grow our own chicken and we're importing from China? 300 million a year. Australia. Why are we still importing fruit that we should be producing ourselves? So the issue of justification for your organization and others in the sector, we have to question as politicians. What is the real value that you've generated after all the years of research? People are talking about all the rice. What is it done? All the donors and partners, we can't keep talking about subsistence farming in this country. We have so many youths unemployed. We need to generate wealth, opportunities for our farmers. Why is it that the rest of the world has moved on the last 8 years and we haven't? want to do the first 5,000 commercial rice farm in Papua New Guinea. And I want the study to start in 3 weeks. And I'd like to see Nari being part of, one of his scientists to be part of this study by Wilma. We're going to start a 5,000 hectare commercial rice farm through irrigation for the first time in our history. You can be part of it or you may be left behind.
Minister Maru said the state will venture into commercial rice farming without the guidance of an irrigation policy. NARI Program Director Dr. Berta Komolong said NARI does not have a single person who has experience of doing policy research.
These things have never been considered as something that should be part of NARI. We querying cluster farming or not querying? I mean, there's a suggestion to do cluster farming. There's another models where you have big companies providing the pull, assembling maybe the nucleus farming concept. So that is where we need to have people who have that kind of expertise in that space to basically make these type of things. Again, this is not something that really has ever crossed the mind that is this part of knowledge. There are many areas in agriculture research that nobody really considered as part of being agriculture research, including social research. We want to mobilize 87% of the population who are still very much comfortable in the subsistence things. So what are really the triggers and incentives that can make them jump from their own comfort in their villages and communities to leave this comfort zone and risk certain things to now put it into a commercial space?
Dr. Komolong says while NARI has funding for research, they do not have support from the recurrent budget to provide the kind of staff body they need, with the breadth of expertise that is needed to support large-scale commercial farming in the country, including the necessary technology. Minister Maru then tasked NARI to come up with a proposal and a memorandum of agreement that should be signed in the next 2 weeks. Kamala Guare, TVWAN News, Leh.
And now to the finance news. The Kina closed 1 point lower at $0.2658 US in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, our Kina was buying $0.2583 US, $0.3945 Australian dollars, $0.2303 euro, and 38.43 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold, palm oil, crude oil, and copper closed higher, while coffee, cocoa, and copra closed lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, ASX closed higher, and all ordinaries closed higher as well. You're watching TV1 News. Regional news is next. Stay tuned.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSP Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSP branch today to register now for BSP Mobile Banking. BSP Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSP, our bank, our people.
Hiya, Mama. You wait time, but me add him special flavor.
Put in more flavor, put in more taste. Magical karuki, up a big smile on face. Time for Kim chicken, a great kumutu. Sip, sip, the moo, yes, magic on you.
Maggi, the taste PNG loves.
When you're spending time with family,
when you've got a big day ahead. When you have given it all you've got. When you're putting on a feast, that's when you want the best. That's when you want flame rice. New flame rice. Win him, Olgeta.
Hari Molgata rice lovers. Mi plaga 300,000 kina scale school money long win him. Sans belong you lo win him 1,000 kina. 300 per lucky line by winning inside long 4 plus fortnight. Sans belong you lo win a big plus thread. By 1 kg he going up 20 kg scale or ori rice. Cut him this stamp na put him inside long envelope and the full name na contact details long you. Na drop him inside long entry box long store. Promotion by Pinis long March 29, 2024. Hurry up now win big plus one time scale na ori rice. Piani mi long social media long save mo. Terms na condition is stuff.
Halo, mi orang bukan ya. Biar besai kay na iblaw ko si One Plus Video Club. Video it's.
Welcome back. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese is making a big pitch for Australian investment in Southeast Asia, unveiling a $2 billion fund to Asian leaders he is hosting in Melbourne. It comes as tensions in the region flare again. Coast Guard ships from China and the Philippines have collided in disputed waters in the South China Sea.
Standing together at a pivotal moment. Australia finds itself in a region which is becoming more powerful and prosperous.
Right in the middle of the fastest growing region of the world in human history. That presents an incredible opportunity for Australia.
The Prime Minister engaging in a lightning round of intense diplomacy with leaders and putting money on the table too, up to $2 billion in loans and equity to encourage Australian investment into Southeast Asia, particularly clean energy and infrastructure projects.
What it means is new investment. What it means is jobs here in Australia.
Australian business has often hung back from the region. Some predict that might be changing.
ASEAN is such an enormous opportunity for Australia. ASEAN is the fastest growing region in the world.
But Southeast Asia holds risks as well as opportunity, particularly in the South China Sea.
ASEAN nations all want a peaceful, secure region because they understand that that's the key to prosperity.
Southeast Asian countries are trying to negotiate a code of conduct to preserve the peace, but progress is painfully slow.
Because the ultimate answers are difficult, so too negotiating the code will take quite some time.
ASEAN loves consensus, and Australia would like to build one here. If it could get all Southeast Asian states to agree that China's behaviour in the South China Sea is unacceptable, then it might be able to exert real pressure on Beijing to curb its behaviour. But ASEAN has shied away from doing that in the past, and it's likely to do so again here.
Multicultural groups and disability advocates are raising their voices about racism and discrimination in the Northern Territory, which they say continues to be an ongoing threat in some corners. It comes as the Northern Territory Chief Minister blames social media for a rise in discriminatory comments.
At a tumultuous time for the Territory.
On social media, people say stuff, and maybe some people will just say, go back to your country.
An ongoing debate around racism in the NT, spurred on by the Chief Minister this morning.
Lots of racism, I've seen lots of racism.
Have you called it out?
At times I've called it out, yes, but it is a part of the territory that I don't like. It's racism not just against Aboriginal people, racism against some of our multicultural groups, against Islamics, and as I said, I've seen that on social media particularly.
Ivalola's comments come in response to an ongoing debate about racism after explosive allegations were made at a coronial inquest in Alice Springs last week. Former Constable Zachary Rolfe alleged derogatory language was used daily within the police force.
I'm sure that's something that the police are absolutely every day working to address.
While accusations against police are in the spotlight, it's concerns around broader attitudes in the territory that have multicultural groups raising their voice.
The impact of racism on multicultural people, migrant people, is very high, where people will tell to your face.
Some working in the disability sector echoing concerns of systemic racism.
For people with disability, there's a very high proportion of people in the Northern Territory with a disability, and many of that group are Aboriginal people, and so they often experience a double-barrelled form of discrimination.
Not everyone believes racism is entrenched. In Alice Springs, the town's imam says overall the NT's population is welcoming and accepting.
Personally, I've not seen that, but we know that it happens all over social media.
Exactly how entrenched racist attitudes are in the NT government, we don't know. A review commissioned a year ago into the issue of racism in the NT public sector is still yet to surface.
Back home, Year Education Foundation has opened an office after launching in 2018. Year is helping less fortunate students of Southern Highlands Province study in the United States of America and aims to expand its assistance to youths in the country.
Like many newly established businesses, Year Education Foundation Inc. did not have any office space since its inception in 2018. The COVID pandemic meant they could not secure an office space. Today, it has opened an office space in the steamships compound in Port Moresby, which CEO Paul Kera describes as the gateway to more students having an opportunity at their scholarship program.
Prayer, we saw the burden, we saw a lot of disadvantage, which was situations which were created by the education system. That we all know, we have a lot of dropouts on the streets doing nothing, and they believe that what the education department, after what they get after going through the formal system of education is final. Some of them have accepted the fate and they decided to hang around in the village. Some decided to do other things. Year Education Foundation, we also had that burden, and because of our brother's position, who is based in the US, Jackson Year, we said, can we come up with something that we can give opportunity to some of our dropouts who can.
Before the pandemic, only 4 young people received overseas scholarships. Post-pandemic, Year last year gave 6 students scholarships to study abroad. Guest speaker at the office opening was Jason Kopeap, an advisor for the Science, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics or STEM program. He emphasized how such initiatives like this can boost Papua New Guinea's education opportunities and contribute to learning for many young Papua New Guineans.
And this foundation is a testament to what the heart that he has, and I truly believe in the team that he has, the chairman and the CEO and the vice chairman and the other team that you guys work together. I truly believe that it will grow, and I want to support this in whatever ways that I can. And we here in STEM, Dr. Winery is the guy behind the STEM that wrote come up with the curriculum for the grade 11 and 12 National School of Excellence.
Year as well as STEM believe that education is the passport to the world. Jasmine Irujak, TVWAN News.
And that ends the news segment. Over to you, Rex.
Thanks, Carol. In sports, Barras in for another OD series and Chairman challenges Hunters.
Hardware House is more than just a store. It is where quality meets affordability, where culture is proudly celebrated. Spanning 9 provinces, we pride ourselves in offering top-notch customer support and services. We're more than just a store. We're more than a brand. We are Hardware House.
Beauty is my business, but beauty sure is a tough game. Filters are great, but great skin, better. And that's why my skin deserves the best. So I choose self-care, soaps that gently nourish my skin, resulting in a radiant look, made with tropical ingredients. I trust self-care from City Pharmacy. So bring it on! My skin is ready and so am I.
He's seen as a table legend.
That is delicious.
Join Tommy Gomes in a tasty culinary voyage.
Holy mackerel. Did I just say that? We're exploring where your quality American seafood comes from. Quality is key. The uglier the fish, the better it tastes.
Take a deep dive into America's commercial fishing culture. The Fishmonger. Streaming now on Outdoor.
The martial arts have been practiced for centuries. Forged out of an ancient Asian world of mayhem and intimidation. But in fact, they're all about self-defense, discipline, and honor. This is XMA, the world of extreme martial arts.
Watch Extreme Martial Arts, only on Fight Sports.
Welcome to MotoGP. To be a highly dramatic 18-lap Malaysian Grand Prix Moto2 started with...
So that's a very decent middle sector for the Alpine. They only have... Oh!
They have crashed! They've gone into each other! What a start for Will Davison. Dean Pasquale has been swamped.
Some of the biggest and most talented egos in sailing.
The two-time defending champions make it 2 in a row.
I don't want to conform. I want to find a way not to. That's who I am.
Here's to the dreamers.
I want to be great or nothing.
You don't have to look like everyone else.
The believers.
I am going to be myself.
The change makers.
Time to fight. The resistance starts now. We're doing this my way.
The rebels.
I'm so sick of people saying that love is just all a woman is fit for. I'm so sick of it.
The unstoppable.
That was fun.
To the women who redefine possibilities.
When they go low, we go.
Here's to being unapologetically you.
Ain't nothing gonna keep us off the stage tonight. I don't care if a typhoon hits us.
Rock Entertainment celebrates the strength, courage, and grace that women bring to the world.
You can dream big, and if you work hard, you can achieve whatever that you want.
Because being you is good enough.
No way.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Welcome back. In sports, the Port Moresby Basketball Association, or POMBA, has ignited excitement with its pre-season competitions over the last 3 weeks. Supported by Credit Corporation and Trophy House, the league has ensured a seamless experience for players and fans alike. Established clubs like Ultimax, Saints, Chariots and Exodus return with renewed vigour, while newcomers such as Lakuaru from Tubuseria and Equalizers promise to add depth to the competition. The pre-season matches have been electrifying, showcasing the talents of players and the strategies of teams. As the pre-season draws to a close, teams are focusing on finalizing their composition and meeting administrative requirements, setting the stage for action-packed season ahead. POMBA's commitment to community basketball remains unwavering, with a focus on nurturing young talent and providing avenues for growth. Kumul Petroleum PNG Barramundis, in almost 5 years, defeated Oman in a 50-over match on Monday, 4th February 2024, winning the match by 4 wickets with 5 balls remaining. They will now head into their final 50-over match this evening with Oman with a win under the belt. Tracing 2-4-3 for victory in second 50-over match against Oman, Kumul Petroleum PNG Barramundi started positively. However, they found themselves in a spot of butter after 3 quick wickets before the total had reached 50. Leka Siaka and CJ Amini then settled things down in a brilliant partnership between them before Siaka and Hiri carried the side to within reach. Valuable contribution from Kipling Doriga and Norman Vanua guided PNG to a famous victory.
Stray ball down the leg side and he puts it away as he should for 4.
The PNG Barramundi head coach Tatenda Taibu praised Sesebau Chad Sopa and Hiri for showing maturity with the experience to give the team a historic win against Oman. Taibu will be banking his trust for the men to replicate this performance this evening. The top run scorer for PNG in the series is Hiri, and the top wicket taker for PNG in the series is Chad Sopa, with 3 scarps under his belt. They will be running on the pitch with an expectation to continue their fine form. Taibu said Sopa and Bau were amongst the standouts, players leading the way with 3 wickets each. He is expecting a similar outing from the team. The Barramundis play their 3rd ODI match series against the host nation Oman this evening. With the women's competition set to get underway this Thursday, 7th March on 6 teams will compete this year's JT Super 9s Cup Women's Division at the Mosby South Stadium. The first match kicks off at 12 noon.
The women's JT Super 9s kicks off Thursday, 7th March. The tournament director, Bagalo Solian, said they have confirmed 6 teams, including defending champion Sub-City Raiders, who are geared up to retain the title against challengers Pom Black Pearls, Gabutu Dragons, Vadavada United, Joyce Bay Stingrays, and Hohola Pirates. Solian said most of these teams from Mosby South will be looking at a top 4 finish for a JT Cup qualifiers. He said the women's first match kicks off at 12 noon with Gabutu Dragons versus Pom Black Pearls, followed by Vadavada United versus Sub-City Raiders and Joyce Bay Stingrays versus Hohola Pirates. In Game 2 on Friday, Gabutu Dragons versus Vadavada United, followed by Pom Black Pearls versus Joyce Bay Stingrays, then Sub-City Raiders versus Hohola Pirates. On Saturday, March 16, in Game 3 at 9 a.m., Gabutu Dragons versus Joyce Bay Stingrays, Pom Pearls versus Sub-City Raiders, Vadavada United, and Hohola Flies. According to Raiders senior player Susan Koru, all the regulars were maintained, with training progressing well at the gravel pitch at Sabama. Koru said they are aware of the task ahead, adding defense is key to their matches before they can worry about defending the crown. Terry Longwood, TVWAN Sports.
That's all we have in sports. Carol.
Thank you, Rex. And now the weather forecast for the main centers for the next 24 hours. Southern region, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Port Moresby, partly cloudy with few showers and possible thunderstorms. Momase, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms with areas of rain. Lae, partly cloudy with few showers. New Guinea Islands, scattered showers and thunderstorms. Lorengau, Kavieng, Kokopo and Rabaul, partly cloudy with few showers possible. Highlands, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. All centers, cloudy with some showers and possible thunderstorms. Ocean forecast. Coral Sea, seas slight to moderate with east to southeast winds of 10 to 20 knots. Coastal waters forecast. Waters of southern PNG and Indonesian border to Daru, to Kiwai Islands, Kerema to Yule Island, to Hood Point, Samarai Island to Cape Vogel and all Milne Bay Islands, Finchafen through Whittier Strait to Siasi and Long Islands, seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters. And that ends another edition of TV1 News. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
The TVWAN News was proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.